Good morning, Ramon. Happy Halloweeny.
Yeah, we didn't really dress up, Mindy Hahn. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not Halloween. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not a Halloween
I
person.
usually just give out the candy. I don't dress up so much.
Do you give out the big candy bars and make all the neighbors upset?
No, I do not actually. I usually just set my bowl out on the step and I wave hi to everyone, and they just take what they want.
Oh boy.
Well, because usually, football or something's going on, so it's like I'm, preoccupied with other things.
I always found it, the Monday night game when it falls on a Thanksgiving.
I
I'm
Thanksgiving.
really starting. I'm really trying to move the calendar here. When it falls on Halloween, it's always fun because there's always lots of people in costumes,
Right?
and the fact that it's in Cleveland, uh, no disrespect, but I mean, you got you know everybody probably wearing their uh, dog
The
outfits and all
gowns.
that. Yeah, so there'll be some fun pictures tonight from the football game. Uh, Cincinnati and Cleveland, which we'll talk about, but we have the World Series to talk about. We have an NBA card, 7 games. We've got 3 games on the ice. And we'll get started on college football. We finally reached the early week maction. We're in a
Maction.
span here since starting last uh, Thursday, I think, of 27 days of football in a row. So it continues this week and next week and into the holidays uh, with the MAC starting tomorrow. And we'll talk about the games from Tuesday through Friday if you want to get your pens, pencils, and rotation orders ready. Yesterday, Mindy, in the NFL, I don't know who maybe the big winners or losers were on or off the field in your mind, but I noticed that, well, look, we were on the air. We both had Jacksonville. We
What
the
happened?
team's team won. Team's team won.
Yes,
Yeah,
team did win, but us, personally, not so much. We had the little, Trevor Lawrence just throwing too many interceptions. I mean, we were live on, on TV here, or not TV, but YouTube when he went ahead and threw that 5 yard interception in the end zone, and you just can't, do things like that when points are going to be, at a minimum in these types of games.
yeah, Jacksonville. Look, they're not over the hump. It's hard to still, we're waiting for Trevor Lawrence to be the man. You'd think by now he would be, but you don't have the best team and organization behind you still. But didn't bother Travis Etienne too much. He looked good. And old,
He did.
well, we were making fun of Russ when we left the air, but he ended up making the plays actually in the end. So maybe we should start doing our knee highs um, workouts here. So uh, big victories for Dallas. The Raiders were, I thought, a big story with their
Oh,
goose
geez.
egg.
Zero. Yeah, I would say so, right?
I had a premium loser in that one. I didn't see that. Whoop! I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the Raiders getting 0 coming. I didn't see that coming either. But thanks for everyone. Let everybody start to uh, come into the chat and everything. Hello to everyone joining us. So, uh, what else do you think on there, Mindy? Minnesota continues to roll. The Patriots took care of the Jets again. Afternoon card. Uh,
Yeah,
Niners.
Seattle, I think, is kind of maybe one of the bigger stories here too. I mean, they just keep playing well, taking it 2 teams there also, I think.
Yeah, and we talk about, we always talk about west to east, but east to west is tough too sometimes. And but Seattle does the job against the G-men. Washington with that late win over the Colts.
Yeah,
And
that messed up my day, because I lost that one right at the end, and then I had Atlanta too, and they had that one in the bag. And I don't know, what is it with everyone allowing these wide receivers to get behind them, and when you have to guard against only the end zone. It happened a couple times, probably 2-3 times. You see it happen yesterday where the receivers got in behind the safeties. Just kind of mental errors, I think. That maybe shouldn't be happening at this point in the season.
well, I thought they said on the next gen stats, if anybody likes that sort of thing, that it was the farthest thrown ball or the farthest completion of the season. So I'm not going to give the defensive backs, you know, any slack for that. But I mean, you're experienced enough to know, like, no way is this guy going to throw the ball that far. And well,
Right.
he does throw the ball hard. Give Walker credit. Give the Carolina Panthers credit. Right at this point, I guess maybe they were the story from yesterday or right now in the league to a certain extent, with their, I don't want to say surge up the standings, but I mean,
Yeah. Well,
it,
I mean, yeah, you're not surging too much with only a couple wins, but
no,
yes.
they cut McCaffrey, and they trade
Yeah.
McCaffrey, they bring in Walker and they're doing fine. And the coaches rescued the situation, so hats off to them. And then on uh, Sunday Night Football, Packers get the money there, and we both had a premium winner there on the under. I'll go over to
Yes.
Tony'sPicks.com and check it out. But the late game, Mindy, not a terrible game. Wasn't much. I don't know if Green Bay was ever going to be in it there once Buffalo started to take over, but they got the money.
That's right. I mean, and that's what all that matters in the game to us as handicappers is who can get the money, who can cover the spreads, and they were able to do that again with again getting in behind those safeties, able to get down the field, and when it looked like Buffalo had everything pretty handily, allowed that late second touchdown there also. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game. It's just that, the receivers and Rodgers are obviously just not on the same page. And, I think for the most part, the Bills can kind of score at will. Sometimes it kind of almost seems like they're just kind of messing around out there.
Green Bay ended up with 4 receivers, but they got one guy, caught a first career touchdown and maybe has some promise. So they've got it. But again, we talked about the receiver situation, and they end
Right.
up that it almost seemed like Buffalo, they knew they were going to win. They weren't too interested in,
Right.
uh, pouring it on, or couldn't. Green Bay made some plays too defensively. I said they would make some
Yeah.
plays defensively. They weren't terrific. They didn't
Good
overwhelm
enough.
them, but you're
Yeah.
facing Buffalo that's been absolutely killer, and well, they kept them in there. If anything, it was maybe the defense that did get Green Bay the cover. They had that late
Yeah, what is it? They forced them to cause, their first punt of the season almost. I mean, they weren't terrible on defense. It's just that they get worn down after, like they talked about a lot, just getting worn down with that pass attack there.
So we do get the premium winner under. Both of us have the under in that game, and a decent day for the lineup over at Tony's Picks. I'm up there in morning steam. Well, we finished in the green. If we could just keep doing that,
Right.
we'll be fine. Hats off to Brandon, six
Yeah,
and
he had a
one
good
day.
day.
The GM 5-1 yesterday, and everybody else was a game over. So plenty of cappers in the green. All right, let's take a look over. Let's go back to the homepage a little bit, see what's going on. Mindy, what do you have going today, you think, on Tony's Picks? Like I said, we've got, another
Well,
day of all the sports going.
yes,
And,
I mean, so I'm definitely going to be in action in Sunday Night Football, in the World Series, in basketball, and in hockey. So I'm going to have a full slate of games in here today, as well as the morning steam, and I'm sure you will too as well, Ramon. What do you got today?
yeah, well, I'm definitely going to be involved in the NBA, NHL. We'll see what we come up with Team Steam and how you're feeling about the World Series and also Monday Night Football. We'll see. Felt pretty good about yesterday's card. My results, I think, were kind of mixed there. I had premium winners, though. My early NFL goes off and hits a 2-1. Also hit that, like I said, the premium there late. So that was good. And NBA, I don't want to think it was an afterthought necessarily there yesterday, but I did have some premium winners, Golden State and Detroit over. I think that ended up being a pretty easy winner. I also had Orlando and Dallas to go over for a winner as well. And well, I laid off over there in the NHL, but that's where Team Steam came through. I think we had a Minnesota and Chicago game to go over, and also Arizona and Rangers under, right?
That's right. Yeah,
So
so not too bad. And
yeah,
those Lakers came through and got the win finally.
yeah, how about that, right? I mean, I couldn't tout them necessarily. I couldn't even take them, but maybe felt like the spot was right there uh, for the Lakers yesterday. They finally got the win, um, beating Denver last night. So,
Right.
all right, don't forget, check out all the cappers over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 20%. You see all the cappers there. Over at Tony's Picks, everyone will have picks up today, I'm sure. And there's the little leaderboard there. And I think you know where we'll look at, right, is Team Steam in the NFL. How about that? Because still 22-10. The GM, wow, 27-11. Tony coming through also over the past 30 days in the NFL. Those are some pretty good numbers. I'd say we're still clicking over there, certainly. So
Yeah, that's right.
let's put our handicapping minds together and start rolling them off. I think we got enough people in here now. Well, I was hoping to get a few more, but we'll get rolling with the show today here on a Monday. All right.
Yeah, lots of stuff to cover today, Ramon.
Yeah, I hope we can get it all in. I mean, nobody's going to cut us off here. We don't have any time constraints, so, but we'll get into it and start right off with the main event. I'd say, and I don't know if people want to think that maybe the football game, but no, we know better. This is still the World Series, so that's where we'll start it off. Certainly with the free picks rapid fire with Houston and Philadelphia. Houston's going to be favored on the road. Mindy, something's got to give here. Houston's won all their postseason road games. Philly's won all their postseason home games. And like I said, I think Philly came out of there with that split. So right now they are technically in control, despite what you said about, and the obvious that the Astros are still favored in the series, $1.70. But today they're favored by $1.30 in the total, 8 under 15. McCullers and Syndergaard World Series Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could say that this might be the most important game of the series. The game 3 winners usually go on to win the World Series. That's kind of just where it's been. You have McCullers and Syndergaard that both have postseason experience in a World Series, right? Syndergaard put up 4 scoreless innings versus, the Royals the last time out. McCullers, he also gave up, no earned runs, in his last outing in the World Series. I mean, so it's going to be really fun to see how it all, pans out. McCullers, he throws, a 167 versus, lefties here. And you got Harper and, why can't I think of them? Schwarber right now that are, the big heavy lefties. I mean, so it's kind of one of those things, like if you get those two guys down, you might have a little bit easier time here through the lineup. Otherwise, he's 262, versus right-handers. But you have Syndergaard that's, failed twice to beat the Astros here this season. He has allowed, 3 earned runs. It's just that he allows, guys to get on base here also. And so he's going to have to limit the walks. Houston's only hit 200 on the road this season. Thankfully Altuve is kind of maybe catching, fire. So maybe that will make a difference here on the road too. McCullers, he took the loss the last time out versus Phillies. But yeah, I mean, he's still like really holding opponents to pretty much nothing. And then the Phillies, though, if you take a look at them, on their home turf, they scored like 35 runs there in the postseason. So, I mean, you have all of these different, variables that are going to come into play in this. I think ultimately, though, most of these games are going to come down to these two pitchers. They both have posting season experience. I'm going to take the under the total. I think they're going to come out here. I think they're going to limit the bats, even though, both of these teams have been, putting up 11 the first game, 7 the second. You're pretty much going to have to come out and do 9 to beat me today. So I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to be with you, Mindy. I think we're going to go consensus on this one. Look, I think that Philly's in a good spot here. I know that I've been touting Houston all the way, to win the series. And yes, game 3 often critical in a series, especially because, the pitchers that go and the fact that they could end up coming back to face one another once again. So, but I like them to get off to good starts. I talked about McCullers. He had the injury, but the numbers are good. Better than Syndergaard for sure. Syndergaard nearly a 4 ERA this season. So, the bats are in some decent position here, but I think these guys will come out and have strong outings. The pressure's on right now. So, I agree with you. I think under 8 is the way to go. And even though I like Houston, I give Philadelphia a huge chance here in this game, despite the fact that maybe McCullers has the better numbers than Syndergaard. Syndergaard, really, this is a hey, this is a World Series. It's a key game for everybody's career. But I don't know, for Syndergaard, kind of a peak moment really for him to try to prove what maybe he hasn't in his career. So I want to agree with you. I want to go under in this one as our consensus pick in World Series game number 3. We'd love to hear your comments as well in the chat. But for Mindy and I, we've got a consensus play tonight in the World Series game number 3, Houston, Philadelphia, under 8 runs.
Sounds good,
All right.
Ramon.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how game 3 goes. Yeah, you're gonna have what gets the big screen, Mindy, when the World Series goes up against Monday Night Football?
Well, I have fantasy in play usually for football, so I'm gonna put on the Monday Night Football game. Will have main screen when the baseball will have the peripheral there.
I'll probably turn down the lights so the kids don't come knocking. I don't want to be Mr. Anti, but I want to watch the game. So,
Right?
I don't know. I bought candy, but boy, the games might get too good. I don't
See,
want.
you might have to put your bowl out on the front step.
Oh,
too.
they'll come and take it, and just take what they want. But all right. So World Series game number 3 under sounds good. All right, let's get into that Monday Night Football game right now with the Bengals and the Browns. Let's make sure, because Mindy, this one really has a chance to kind of bounce back and forth today. I think the Bengals are -3. They're even laying a little bit of juice. We could see it go back and forth 3.5 and 3 today. I think the total's 45. Was as high as 47, but I think it's pretty steady. I don't know if we'll see any move off of 45. Maybe it can get to 45.5. I'm seeing some 45.5s out there. So, anyways, Bengals and the Browns. Pretty big game, I would think, in the division right now. What do you think here?
Yeah, it's always a big game, right? And then also it's going to be interesting to see, what happens with Hunt. Talks are that he's on the trading block there as well. I don't know if he's been, as integral this season as in the past. It seems like Chubb's been getting a lot more of the workload. So I don't know, but sometimes that kind of, plays with the locker room a little bit, especially when the talks are out there so publicly, and then it's nice that Joe Burrow is off to a really nice start. Especially when it seemed like they kind of started slow. You talked about it a little bit yesterday. He had that 450-yard game, no interceptions, completed 80% of his passes. Chase is out, but they do have, Boyd and Higgins. Guys that can really step up. So I'm not sure if it's going to hurt, too much. But you have this Browns team that's just been struggling on defense. I mean, they've been able to score, putting up 24, 27 points a game, but they allow those 24 points a game, 30th in the National Football League. So because of that, I think I'm going to go ahead and hit the over on this one. Over 7-1-1 the last 9, 5-1 the Bengals last 6 in a Week 8 game. Over 4-0 to the Browns last 4. Over is 5-1 the Browns last 6 following a loss there as well. So I'm going to go over the total. I think it's going to be a good one.
And a couple of our friends coming in with some picks. Timmy's got the Bengals. Latifa, she's breaking it down, says Cleveland first half and over. I just my concerns with the total that Cincinnati has been a pretty solid under this season, 2-5 to the under. This series, what can you say? I mean, it is definitely an over series, but the Bengals, they seem to have Cleveland's number a bit, right? 7-1-1 against the spread at Cleveland. Look, I think the Bengals' best chance is really, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, even though Chase is out, Higgins can be the man tonight. Boyd, maybe it might be a tougher matchup for him, but I think the Bengals, if they can run the ball with Mixon, I think he's the one that really can kind of dictate the game a little, the Bengal running game a little bit. So that's the way I'm going to lean. I'm going to look to the Bengals to get another win here. Cleveland could pressure Burrow. That could be tough. But if they can keep it balanced with that running game, not just Mixon, they can mix in Samaje Perine. Crush says no Jamar Chase? Question mark? Or are you saying no Jamar Chase and but yeah, no Chase in the game. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. That's definitely too bad. He's one of the true playmakers in the game. So yeah, Latifa says they're gonna use Mixon, and I think that's key for them. Chubb has been great, and you mentioned Hunt. They do have a pretty formidable combo out of there, but what's Cleveland passing game going to be like with Cooper? I mean, look, he's been fun to watch, and Peoples Jones has made some spectacular plays, but is it really as good as the Bengal mix if they can get it going? Latifa throws in a prop and says Mixon to go over 67.5, and I sure hope so because I'm going to take the Bengals as my free play today. I'm going to lay 3 points. If it goes to 3.5, that's going to suffer, but right now it's 3 juiced at -120, I think, for the most part. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. Mindy's going to go kind of with that serious trend and go over. Cleveland's been over. I mentioned Bengals 2-5 to the under, but you mentioned it. Cleveland 5-2 to the over. So giving you 2 plays here. No consensus on this one for Mindy and I, but I've got Bengals. Mindy's got the over in Monday Night Football on Halloween. I can remember one year, Mindy. We'll move on here to the NBA, but my friends wanted to go trick or treating, and I think the St. Louis Cardinals were playing the Chicago Bears, and I wanted to watch football, and I didn't go out trick or treating. So, I don't know. Shows you how I am about. I was a kid. I was like 10 or 11.
You're like, but there's more important things right now.
I wanted to watch the football game.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the NBA tonight. We've got a 6-game card to go up against World Series and Monday Night Football, but that's okay. We'll have some plays here for sure. Gonna kick it off with the Sixers and the Wizards. All right. In this one, I'm going to bring up the odds, see if there's been any changes. I was able to update these within the last 60 to 90 minutes, I guess, or so. So, yeah, 4.5. This total, though, has been dropping all morning. It opened as high as 222, and we're now down to 217.
Yeah, so the Wizards are off, not a great showing there yesterday. But I just see the 76ers team, just struggling on, defense, allowing, 46.5% from the floor. And the Wizards are, one of the highest shooting percentage teams out there. Philly, on the other hand, they're only the 25th best scoring team in the NBA this season. I'm going to take a look at the Wizards at home plus 4.5.
All right, Mindy, I'm going to be down with that. I think Philadelphia, they've won 3 of 4 now, including the wins at Chicago and Toronto. Washington's kind of looked bad the last 2 with losses to Indiana and at Boston, but I agree. I mean, getting the points at home, I'm going to favor here. Latifa says, "Hey, how about Washington money line?" And I think. That might be a look for us here, but we're going to take the points, Mindy. I think with a consensus play, I think the Wizards can turn it around. I think my guy's going to be Kuzma tonight to have a strong day. We know Embiid is battling a little bit of an injury. I think he could be. I'm going to check his injury status. Questionable with an illness right now. Not to mention he's been a little bit sore as well. So not sure what the status. Right now I'm showing Embiid as questionable. So I think moving forward, listed as an illness, and there have been a little bit of COVID issues within Philadelphia. So it doesn't list him as a COVID illness, but you do have some players within the organization have had some COVID issues. So, anyways, Mindy, for me, I'm going to look at Washington with you. So,
all right, let's do it.
I say, COVID. I don't want to jump the gun on that. I think they're more listed as illness. Again, nobody says anymore the 5-letter word. So they're all lumped together. They're all coronaviruses. They all have the little crowns still. So
right.
I might be saying,
which coronavirus you get.
I might be saying some controversial comments right now. I better just stop. So, anyways, we're on the Wizards consensus play tonight. I agree. Philadelphia's defensive struggles. I like the fact that total's going down. I might be looking at some premium action later on. We'll see. But we'll take the Wizards consensus play to start us off here. Kings and Hornets. Kings are favored in this one by 2. Total is definitely 232.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the over in this one, Ramon. The over is 5-2 in the Kings' last 7 overall. It's also 5-1 the last 6 meetings here between these two teams, 6-2 in the last 6 head-to-head there in Charlotte as well. I'll be taking the over.
All right. I'm going to look to Sacramento, I think, in this one. They're 1-4, but 3-2 against the spread. Now, I know we're laying the points here. Sacramento's lost 4 straight, but they had lost 4 straight and then bounced back to get that win over Miami. Charlotte, they're not too great on defense, but I like Sacramento here as my free play. I think Sabonis can have a pretty big game against this one, and I think for Charlotte, they could have a little bit of struggles, especially Smith and maybe Washington as well. So I'm going to take Sacramento in this one as my free play. Lay the points on the road. Mindy says go over in Sacramento and Charlotte. And Latifa's coming in with a play here. She says Sac as well. So we're against Mindy. I know we're against somebody else on the team too, but go ahead and take a look at the videos today up on Tony'sPicks.com for more opinions. How's that? I'll leave it at that.
There you go.
All right. Next up, we're going to look at the Pacers and the Nets. And the Nets here, favored by 8.5. Total 238. I don't know which Nets are favoring here. I mean, one of the worst teams in the league so far.
Yeah, and I know. I think the Nets finally got an over game. It was either yesterday or the day before. But I'm going to go back to the under between these two teams. The under is 5-2 in the Pacers' last 7 road games. 9-2 in the Pacers' last 12 road games versus a team with a losing record. I'm going to go under here until they can start scoring a little more points, those Nets.
Yeah, there's some kind of problem at this point. Crush says, I want to take the Nets so bad. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I mean, uh, like,
They are like, I wish I could. I just want to, but I can't find it. Yeah.
no, I can't take the Nets right now laying those type of points. I might, be premiuming it. If Timmy says Pacers plus 8.5 here, Latifa says Indy plus the points. So I think they've made the decision for me, but I'm going to agree with you, Mindy. I'm going to go under in this game with Indiana and Brooklyn. I know these teams have gone over in 5 of the last 6 meetings, but this total does seem just a little bit high right now for what's going on with these two situations. Brooklyn 1-5 straight up and against the spread right now. Pacers have done well. They've covered 4 straight in the series. Let's make another premium play here, premium consensus, and go with the under 238. Indiana and Brooklyn. All right. Continuing on now with the Hawks and the Raptors. The Raptors are favored by 4, and this one's ticked up just a little while ago to 224.5.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was looking to the over 7-3 in the last 10 head to head, 4-0 in the Hawks last 4 overall. And the over has been 10-4 in the Raptors last 14 also. I'm going to take the over in that one.
I put the wrong game up there. Hope we didn't screw up the video there.
I thought.
Okay. Well, I'll just stall a little bit so we got more Hawks and Raptors on the when we chop it up later. Yeah, for these two, look, Atlanta's 4-2 straight up, but 2-4 against the number so far. I like the fact that it was as low as 222.5. Now it's 224.5, but 7 of the last 10 meetings have gone over. Atlanta's gone over in 4 straight. Atlanta 1-4 against the spread at Toronto. I do think it will be a high-scoring game, Mindy. I was kind of maybe saving it for a premium, but the fact that you're on it, I think is going to go ahead and make me let's go ahead and put it down. We gotta help our record here a little bit, and I feel like that's one of my stronger plays of the day. So I hope that's okay that we put it on as a consensus play. Timmy wants to throw it in a teaser there, 2-teamer tonight. How about that? Latifa says, watch out. Atlanta's not too swift on the road so far. So I get it. And I think she's also saying Raptors at home. So I don't know. We might be against it there. But Mindy, let's go over. Make another consensus play here with Atlanta and Toronto going over 3 out of 4 so far. How about that?
Looks good to me, Ramon.
Okay. All right, here's a big spread with Detroit and Milwaukee in this one. And, Milwaukee, 13-point favorite here. And the total is now at 225.5.
Well, I mean, I think you can make a case that, the Bucks might be one of the best teams in the NBA right now. And then you had that Pistons that Ramon said would, likely grab a win or at least a spread win versus Golden State. I think it's one of those that you're probably going to see maybe a little bit of a letdown here with the Pistons after a big win. I'm not so sure. But you got that big spread there. So I'm just going to take a look at the under. The under is 4-1 in the last 5 meetings here between those two teams. So I'll go under the 225.5.
Yeah, I was thinking, and Mario comes in, he says take Detroit here. Latifa says the points might be the way to go, that Milwaukee wins this one by single digits. So, I was thinking under, but man, this is a pretty big move now all of a sudden. I mean, it opened as high as 230 and now it's 225.5. So I'm just not sure I can, get necessarily involved with the total like I was hoping to. in this one. I might even just have to wait and see if there's any more movement because, I was thinking under, but I was thinking under of 230, 229, maybe even 227, but now we're at 225 and a half. It is juiced up a little bit to the over here. Milwaukee, you mentioned how good they are. Not only are they 5-0 straight up, but they're 5-0 against the spread. So, got Mario says, "Hey, take that Detroit money line plus 600." Here Latifa says, "Detroit, yeah, well, plus the points, right?" She says by single digits. So, Milwaukee, boy, big numbers they got to cover if they're going to keep this up. But 14-3-1 against the spread the last 8 meetings. Milwaukee's kind of owned them. Detroit 6-1 to the over this year, but as you mentioned, the series has been a dead under. I'm going to take a pass, Mindy. I'm going to have to pass. I'm searching information right now. Yeah. All right. Memphis and Utah. Memphis is on the road here, favored by 3.5. Total has dipped here in the last hour to 232.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. That both of these teams have been a little up and down this season. I think what the Grizzlies have to get this one in order to split that little, series that you talked about that you're not so sure you like, this season. But I see the Grizzlies a couple times giving up like big runs, right? They let teams go off to 8-0s, 12-0s, 15-0s, but yet they still come back and win. They're putting up the points. I'm going to go over the total in this one, over 6-5 in the last, or 16-5 in the last 21 in Utah. And then that also puts them at 16-5 in the last 21 overall as well.
They haven't played 21 straight in Utah, though. You're saying
no. I'm saying the last 21 in Utah and the last 21 overall. It just so happens that is weirdly the same.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
It's weirdly the same, yeah. But I'm gonna take the over in this one.
Yeah, well, Memphis 5-1 to the over this season. It's dipped 3.5 points already from an opener of 235.5. Man, it may continue to go down. Memphis 4-2 straight up, but 2-4 against the spread. I don't know. Utah has been pretty neat so far. I might like them to win this game outright, but I agree with you, and I think we're getting a pretty good price. I think we should go over in this game. I know that's going to give us a fourth play here, but Timmy's given us a bet percentages saying that, that's way back on that game. Sorry about that.
Latifa said big over.
Yeah. Oh, maybe Latifa's talking about this game. I'm not sure, but let's go over in this game, Mindy. I think it can go over to. I had it going over 235.5. Why wouldn't I have it going over 232? Right. Let's make another play here with Memphis and Utah to go over. All right, finally in the NBA, the Rockets and the Clippers. Well, the Rockets haven't looked too good. They're covering the numbers. So here it's 9.5, 223.5.
I mean, so I think this one's going to be, a good game. To me, that point spread's like right about on. It's one of those like the Clippers just kind of have a little bit of an advantage over the Rockets, in the past. But again, I'm going to look at total in this one over 6-0 in the last 6. 6-1 to the over in the Rockets last 7, 6-0 in the Clippers last 6 Monday night games here. So going over the total again in this one, Ramon.
Well, I hope you don't mind a 5-pack on a Monday in the NBA out of a 7-game card. I like the over here as well. The series 6-0 to the over in LA. Clippers have gone under this year in 5 of 6 games, no doubt about it. But I think at 223 here, that seems okay to me. I think Latifa says take the over as well, and Clippers win. I think she's saying Houston plus the points over, but the Clippers win. If I'm interpreting that correctly. Look, Houston 1-6, but 4-3 against the spread. So that's kind of interesting. So usually they're just getting too many points, but watch out. Clippers might be okay tonight to get this number. They really need a number, so they need to get a convincing win. But I'm not sure. So let's go over. Let's do a 5-pack in the NBA. Why not?
Right.
Want to cover these?
Yeah, so we got Wizards
Wow.
plus 4.5, Pacers Nets under 239, Hawks Raptors over 224.5, Grizzlies Jazz over 232, Rockets Clippers over 223.5. So some good ones out there, Ramon.
Okay, let's get it. Let's clean that up. Let's get that number moving again. And let's get ready to get into some hockey action for tonight. There's a 3-game card in the National Hockey League on a Monday night. And everything starts before 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific, 6 Central. I'm going to start it off with the Caps and the Hurricanes. I'm going to check out, see if these goalies, any information on the goalies. But, right, maybe Frederik Andersen in there for Carolina now. So what do you think here, Mindy? It's Washington and Carolina. Make sure that line is good right now. And I'm showing 186 over 15. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it should be a good one. I'm excited to have this one on if I can as well with all the action going on. But I'm going to look to the under. These two teams are 26 and 28 in scoring, having a hard time putting up the goals this season. And if I look at, Kemper, he's 2.4 goals, Anderson, 2.8 goals. That doesn't total, 6. And the under is 8-2 in the Hurricanes last 10 off of a day's rest. So look into the under here in this one.
All right, Mindy's going to say take the under here, and Latifa says go under as well in this one between Washington and Carolina, 2 rivals going at it. She says she likes the under here in this one. For me, though, I'm going to take Carolina. I know it's a big price. It's even gone up from a low of 167 here. I'm going to lay some chalk as usual in the NHL on the show. Carolina, they're 5-2-1, and I know they're at home here, but you know how I feel about teams that can go on the road and win. Carolina is 4-1-1 on the road. I'm not saying it's a factor here. Like I said, they're at home, but it just shows me that they're a pretty good team this season, I think. Washington, though, has won 5 of the last 6 meetings. And Mindy, obviously, bucking some series trends here, 7-3-1 to the over last 11 meetings, including 4-0-1 last 5 at Carolina. But Mindy says go under the 6. Yeah, go under the 6. And I say lay the chalk with Carolina at minus $1.80. Detroit at Buffalo in this one, and maybe it's Husso now. I'm starting to see on some of the sites in Comrie for Buffalo, so we might be getting a look at the other goalies here in this one now. That seems to be the consensus, I think. And the line currently is Buffalo 140, 6.5 under, minus 120 now.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see the Red Wings as kind of having Buffalo's, number. They're 4-0 in the last 4, 4-1 in Buffalo. I'm going to take the Red Wings here in an upset. Let's go Red Wings. I think I get plus 120, something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Latifa comes in with a first period bet. She says look for Detroit to get off to a good start here. But you know what? You're going money line, Mindy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. I agree with you. I think Detroit is in a great position here to be competitive. Detroit's been a pleasant surprise, right? I mean, this is a a team that maybe's been improving slightly, but still mired in some losing seasons of late. So Timmy says Detroit better goalie. Like I said, it looks like maybe it's going to be Husso and Comrie now in there. So not quite. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but Detroit 4-2-2. They've won the last 4 meetings. The last 4 meetings have also gone under. 4 out of the last 5 have gone under. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case tonight. I think Detroit might be able to put up some goals here in this one to get that victory. But we've got at least one play for us, Mindy. Let's take Detroit on the road as a dog against Buffalo. Consensus play.
Consensus play.
All right, finally, LA and St. Louis. Let's see, we've had some. This one looks like it could be quick and Bennington here and St. Louis. They're down to $1.20 from an opener of $1.40. LA is taking action here. Total now 6 under 20.
Yeah, I mean the Kings are second in scoring right now. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the over. Over's 5-0 in the last 5 following a win. 6-1 last 7 overall. The over's 4-0 in the Blues versus teams with it says losing record, but we're looking at a tie here thus far, or even. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the over. I think the Blues, they kind of are up and down in this one, so I'm kind of looking for, I think more Kings here to get some of that scoring done.
All right, yeah, I was kind of surprised actually that the line was, juiced 6 to the under the way the Kings have been scoring. So that kind of, I was hoping for a higher number. I was actually going to consider the under. I might be against all of you here in this one, but I gotta like the Kings right now. They just feel right to me. I feel great about my Kings all of a sudden.
Right.
St. Louis are just 2-5 on the puck line so far. They've lost 4 straight. Kings have gone over though in 7 of 9. I can't fault you guys there with all those goals, but 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two have gone under. Pennington has been pretty solid, but I like the Kings to win the game. I'm going to take the Kings at even money as my free pick in the NHL. So, all right, Mindy, we got one play. It's going to be the Detroit Red Wings in hockey as our consensus play today.
Sounds all good right. To me.
That's a look at the card for today. The 4 sports, the World Series, NFL, NBA, and NHL. So get out your rotation now, and we're going to kick off college football. We've got work to do, Mindy, in college football.
I guess.
Last Saturday. I mean, we could, just brush over it but we need to be better, and we will. Maybe the Maction will get us to where we need to be. Over the first couple of days, we get into the Tuesday night football. So I don't know how you feel about that, but it's always good to have some football on the screen.
It doesn't matter. I like any football. I don't care what it is.
The world's going to be going up against the World Series, but that's okay. Let's get right into it here with the first one. Not a great game. Ball State. Kent State 5.5. Total is 61.
Yeah, I mean, Ball State, they're 4-4, lost their last one versus Eastern Michigan. And the 3-5, Kent State won their last one, beating Akron. Kent State, they haven't lost a home game since October 2019. They outscore Ball State by average about 4 or 5 points a game, and really outgained them on offense. They put up about 433 yards. Kent State then also 9-4 against the spread, their last 13. I'm going to take Kent State to cover. If you haven't lost since 2019 at home, let's, keep that streak alive.
All right, Mindy, and I don't want to jinx you, and I don't want to make anybody think that but take a look at the lines on the screens right now. I mean, this day game has definitely gone up over the last few minutes or so, at least the last couple of hours, to 6.5.
Instead of 4.5.
Right. But just to show you I'm a good sport about it, I'll agree with you. And I'm going to agree with you and take Kent here. Well, look, when we go in the system, we're going to be laying, I believe, 6.5.
Okay.
I don't think there's any way around it. I mean, they were laying as few as 4 points, but some very sharp action has come in within the last 90 minutes on Kent that I can determine a steam play. So actually, it makes me feel even more confident about it. Actually, here in this one, we know Kent. They're 5-0 at home and 0-3 on the road,
Right.
straight up. So 5 of the last 6 meetings have gone under, and you mentioned Ball just 1-4 their last 5 meetings against Kent. So let's go ahead and team up for
All
a
right.
consensus play. We did get caught up in laying a few too many steamed games this week, but I like Kent here. My window goes pretty high for Kent, maybe even to double digits. So I think we're okay here. Let's lay the points with Kent as a consensus play. All right, now the biggest game probably of the week in the MAC, right? Buffalo, first place in the East at 4-0. Ohio's 3-1, but they're at home and it's a close matchup. I'm showing Buffalo now up to a 3-point favorite and the total 59.
Yeah, I mean, this game features 2 5-3 teams, with Buffalo coming off that win versus Toledo. Ohio won their last one against Northern Illinois. Buffalo, I think, has a much better defense. They only give up 24 a game compared to Ohio, who gives up, 10 more than that, 34 and a half points per game. Buffalo, they're 5-0-1 against the spread. The last 6, 4-0 in the last 4. I'm going to take Buffalo here to win and cover.
All right. I thought you were going to talk about these defenses and maybe have a recommendation on the under. But yeah, Buffalo, what can you say? 6-1-1 against the spread. They're back to being Buffalo. I think after, it looked like they were, a lot of people weren't thinking they might come back this year. But Ohio's been great, 4-0 straight up again at home so far, but just 1-3 on the road. They're at home here, though, obviously. So I don't know. This is going to be pretty good game, probably worth checking out, even if you're not a big MAC fan. If you are not a MAC fan, this is probably the game to check out this week. I'm going to go under in this one. Really. I think it's gotten a little bit too high here in this one. Let me see here. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I think the number's just gotten a little bit at 59. This feels a little bit too high to me right now. I'm going to go under as my free pick in Buffalo and Ohio. I think we got 2 very good teams here that may be able to play a little bit of defense. All right, we're going to move to Wednesday action now in the MAC. Central Michigan and Northern Illinois. And Northern Illinois, a 4-point favorite, the total 56.
The Fighting Lombardis, right? Both both these teams are struggling since both are 2-5. Central Michigan lost its first one to Bowling Green. Northern Illinois, we just talked about, lost to Ohio. NIU, they score 30 points a game. Central Michigan, 25. Northern Illinois, 7-1 against the spread, the last 8 following a bye week. The pick's going to be the Northern Illinois team here at -4.
Okay. Mindy says take the Huskies. -4 in this one. Yeah, I mean, both teams 2-6 straight up. Northern Illinois 6-2 to the over. Central Michigan has done pretty well, 7-1 against the spread. In the last 8 meetings. So, man, this one pretty tough for me here, I think. But I think the fact that NIU doesn't have a too swift defense, my window here is just terrible. My projection is pretty bad in this. I have all the way from 50.5 up to 62.5, and maybe it might be saying, take under, considering where that total is, even though it's falling right in the middle. But I think a more realistic number to me is right around 58 or so. I'm going to go over as a free play. Not feeling too great about this ugly game, but I'll go over in this one, over 56 as my free play. Central Michigan, Northern Illinois, and Mindy says take Northern Illinois minus the 4. All right. Western Michigan and Bowling Green, another pretty decent game here. You have Western Michigan; they're 2-2 over in the Western Division. Bowling Green is 3-1 in the Eastern Division. They're up there with Buffalo and Ohio. And Bowling Green is now a 3.5-point favorite, seeing some move here over the last few minutes. Bowling Green opened as low as 1, so Bowling Green is taking a lot of action here in this one.
Yeah, and I like Bowling Green. Western Michigan, they're entering the game 3-5 after beating Miami, Ohio in the last one, 16-10. Bowling Green, they're 4-4 in their last game with a 34-18 win over Central Michigan. On the season here, Bowling Green, outscores Western Michigan by, well over a touchdown. Bowling Green, 5-2 against the spread their last 7 between the two teams. I think I'm going to take the home team. And you keep moving that point spread up, don't you? So minus 3.5 now.
Yeah, like I said, open 1, and I'm not, thrilled about it at all, quite frankly. I kind of was leaning Bowling Green if it was 1 or so, but Bowling Green 6-2 to the over this season. Wow, Western Michigan 5-2 against the spread their last 7 meetings against BG, but 7 of the last 9 meetings have gone under. So kind of not feeling it right now as far as the side is concerned with you, Mindy. I'm going to end up, I got to think it's going to go under this total with these two teams. Maybe reaches just short, somewhere around the mid 40, low to mid 40s. So Mindy says take Bowling Green, lay the points, and I'm going to take the under in Western Michigan and Bowling Green. All right, that's the weekday action in the MAC. All right, continue on now and take a look at the games. These are from Thursday. UTEP and Rice. Rice is favored 3.5, and the total's 48. Definitely 3.5 and 48.
Yeah, both these teams are coming into this one off of losses. UTEP losing to Middle Tennessee. Rice lost to Charlotte. And then, Rice is ranked, 222nd in points against. That can't be right, can it? But Rice, they also average giving up, 49 points over their last 2 games. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take UTEP in this one.
I agree with you, Mindy. I mean, there were some numbers that had UTEP opening a favorite here, and now Rice seems to be taking the action. But I'm not, look, this has been a terrible series for UTEP. Okay, Rice has covered 8 of the last 9 meetings at home against UTEP. UTEP's 2-7 to the under. Rice is 7-1 to the over. But 4 of the last 5 meetings have gone over. I think we could see some scoring here, and to me, I think that might favor UTEP to be able to stay in this one. Look, it bothers me that they don't play very well in this series on the road, but I think they might be able to win this game, actually. I'm going to take UTEP with Mindy. Give us a consensus play here on the game with UTEP, and we're getting 3.5 points, all right? We're getting the hook here. All right. Next up, Appalachian State against Coastal Carolina. Appalachian State's favored in this one. They are currently favored by 3, total 61.5.
Yeah, we kind of haven't heard much from, Appalachian State since the early beginnings of, the season, having game day there with North Carolina, but they're 5-3. They've been decent. They just, have had a little bit of a cooling off period there after those couple good ones right at the beginning, but they beat Robert Morris 42-3 last time out. Coastal Carolina, they're no joke. They're 6-1 with a win in their last game, 24-13 over Marshall. It's one of those that Coastal Carolina have been having a little bit of trouble here covering the spread. I like App State in this one. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 in November here as well. Plus, they just put up a lot of points. I'll take Appalachian State.
All right. Well, it's going to be Coastal's been hot, obviously, with their 7-1 record right now, but they are just 3-4-1 against the spread. So usually they're, laying too many points, but here they're a dog. So,
right.
But Coastal won 7-1 against the spread off of a straight up win. I think this one ends up going over, Mindy. I'm going to go over 61.5 here in this one. I have it closer to like 64, 65 in my numbers. So that seems pretty good to me. Mindy's going to lay the points on the road with App State at -3. And I'm going to go over 61.5. I could add 59, but
got to go back in time, Ramon.
Well, we're doing the show right now. This is it. We're doing it right now. So we got to do it when we do it.
Back to the future.
That's at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Saturday through Thursday, right here on the Morning Steam. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Great numbers in the chat today for an early Monday. Might be a Monday morning record, Mindy.
That's right.
Our show's growing. Yay. Maybe they'll keep us around for a little while. Okay, Duke and Boston College. We're on Friday now here with this one, and I'm showing now Duke 9.5, and the total's definitely 49.
Oh, geez, just give me Duke in this one. The road team, they're 5-0 against the spread in the last 5. Duke's coming off a big blowout win there versus Miami, 45-21. Boston College lost its 3rd straight now. God, they just didn't look very good there versus UConn. I'll take Duke -9.5.
Yeah, Connecticut's quite a story right now. Duke doesn't play that well on the road. They've covered 2 out of their last 10, but Boston College now 2-6 straight up, 1-7 against the number. Last 5 meetings have gone under here in this series. So, I was interested in the over here, but just looking at how Boston College has been in this one, man, this one's really tough for me here. I'm gonna take a pass on this one, Mindy, with Duke and Boston College, and put you on the spot to play here on Duke. You're gonna have to carry us here with this one while I think about it a little bit. But speaking of Connecticut, UMass and Connecticut, 15.5, total down to 40 right now.
Oh my gosh.
That's so, because when you get these big spreads and low totals, always kind of interesting when that happens, because now you're looking at, somewhere along the lines
one
of
side's not probably going to cover. Yeah.
27-13, 28-13, something like that.
Well, I'm going to take a look at UConn. UMass is really struggling, 1-7 on the season. They just won their last one here versus Boston College, had the under in that game. UConn, they averaged 22 points in scoring. So those numbers you were throwing out for hypothetical totals look pretty good there. UConn 5-0 against the spread, the last 5 overall. I think they can go ahead and take this one.
I think they will too. I mean, I really thought they might shut them out. They might shut them out, as far as I'm concerned, with Connecticut. Unfortunately, they're laying 15.5 down. I could have laid 14, but I'm going to go with you on this one. I think Connecticut will win the game somewhere. It might be 28-7.
Right.
I think that's what it kind of feels like to me. Might even, like I said, Massachusetts is going to be tough to score a touchdown. I think they're 1-7 straight up. Connecticut's 7-2 against the number. Combined, these teams have gone 5-12 to the under this season. You see that low total. Connecticut's gone under in 4 straight. They've also covered 5 straight. So let's take Connecticut, lay 15.5 as a consensus premium play in college football.
Consensus play.
Okay. Yep, and glad we got people paying attention. Richie Burdell, nice to see you in the chat. Obviously, a watcher of the show. So let's try to get these winners together in college football. Everything else seems to be okay for us, Mindy, right now, except these some of these college games. So I've spent some extra time. I've also taken a couple passes on you, and I apologize for that. But like I said, I mean, we've got to make sure on these right now. So finally, we're going out to Friday night Pac-12 action.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
I mean, Oregon. Hey, Oregon State is a team that no one's. They're for Oregon State because they deserve to get some people talking about them, right?
That's right. I mean, they're both 6-2. I mean, that's nothing to laugh at right now. As suspected. There you go. Oregon State. They kind of beat up on Colorado a little bit, 42-9 in the last one. Washington beat up Cal by 7 points there. But Washington's playing at home. They just play good at home. They're 5-0, and they average 44 points when they are at home. Oregon State, on the other hand, 20.5 points a game on the road. Washington's 4-1 the last 5. I'm going to take Washington here to win and cover this one at home.
Well, Mindy, what was we haven't had a disagreement the entire show, right? If I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I mean, in essence, right? I mean,
let me disagree with you, and I'll take the Beavers. Why not? I mean, look, you mentioned both teams great, but Beavers not only 6-2 straight up, but 6-2 against the spread as well. These teams have combined to go over in 12 of the 16 games this year that they've played. Washington, you mentioned 7-1 to the over, and Oregon State 8-2 against the spread, last 10 against Washington. Now, usually they're getting plenty more points than this. Oregon State, like I said, may be the most underrated team in the country right now, considering.
Well, yeah, they're like tall and sleek and fast. Those receivers, I really like them for Oregon State.
Great analysis there. So that's going to do it for our look at college football. Mindy, we've got a 3-pack for the week. I don't know how you'll do it, but we do have 3 plays.
Yes. So we could say, hey, if you get on this on, Tuesday, you can play with us all the way till Friday. Right?
Yep.
All right. So, we got Kent State minus 6.5, UTEP plus 3.5, and UConn minus 15.5. Sounds like wins.
Let's bring up Tony'sPicks.com again real quick and just take a look at the website. Head on over to Tony'sPicks.com and use that promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 20% off all the premium pick packages. And over there, you can check out the handicapper leaderboard, see who's hot. Check out also, as always, our best bets. Our handicappers are able to pick their best bet in each play each and every day. And you see plenty of best bets up there. Since we got so many sports, you're going to see plenty of best bets because you can put one in each sport. And I like the GM with the pumpkin emojis. Mindy, make sure we throw some pumpkin emojis in there today, and some ghosts and some skeletons up there. Tony Collins, Brandon, he's not in the holiday spirit, but so you can check those out. Also, our $15 plays, our introductory and discount plays each day. Some of them are the best bets as well. Many of them are the best bets. And, of course, our 3-packs over there, the most popular sellers at Tony's Picks. Collins is up there with a 3-pack, one in 3 different sports. Tony's got NBA and MLB covered, and Ben also a 3-pack tonight with NBA and NFL action. Click the All Cappers tab to get signed up there. You'll find all the cappers. You can check out their previous records as well. For example, you can go right into my picks here. There I am, $1,600
There
up
you
over the
are.
last 30 days. NHL this year I'm up 2,700, NBA up 2,500, NFL 900. So you can check those out. And what you do is, so you go down, scroll down, and you can look back at all the pick history for the handicappers. So all of our plays are documented by a third-party source. So nothing we can do once we punch them in, win or lose.
That's
Just
right.
like our premium
You're
picks,
there.
just like our premium consensus here. Nothing we can do other than pick winners.
Right.
So, all right, great show, Mindy. We got it done in 75 minutes or so with a pretty heavy card. So I want to talk to everyone in the chat. I want to thank everyone in the chat for joining us today here on the Morning Steam. And Mindy and I will be back tomorrow with more plays. Mindy, just want to, let me see, I want to mention everybody because I don't know, that just feels like the most important part of the show really is our audience participation. I didn't know it was going to be like that, and I'm certainly glad that it is turned out to be that way. Our consensus plays and our audience participation. Crush, Blake, Butterscotch, Latifah was here, Gerardo was here, Timmy was here, Matt was here as well. Missing your plays, Matt. We'd love to have some plays from you too. We know you're watching, and always appreciate you. Mario chimed in as well. So I think I covered everybody that chatted with us, but thanks to everybody who was watching as well. And Richie as well. Richie's holding us to the fire, and so
That's
we
right.
got to come through.
Nothing but up in college football, right, Ramon?
That's right. And I don't know what we're going to do, Mindy. We're going to talk about this week how we're going to tackle college basketball. Everybody's raving about the 110 games on Monday. We're not going to sit here for 4 hours going over 110 games. We'll see. Maybe we'll come on and only cover our premium consensus. Maybe I don't know, but we'll discuss that behind the scenes and get back to everybody. Maybe in the next couple of days, our regular viewers can make suggestions how they'd like to see college basketball covered. Look, I'd love to talk about
And you
every
could
game.
do top 25,
Yeah.
certain conferences. I mean, I don't know what exactly to do with it either.
Yep. So let's hear from you in the chat, maybe in the days to come. Think about it tonight, how you'd like to see it. We'd like to cover as many as possible without totally boring you to death. I mean, Mindy and I could probably do it. And some days we will. Some days we'll cover every single game, no doubt about it. If there's, 15, maybe some 20 games even. Who knows if it's a light card in the other sports. But 110, I print it out and, we go from there is about what we do. So, all right, Mindy, great job. Great show. We'll see you again, everyone, tomorrow here with more Morning Steam. For Mindy Hahn, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.